So then this is still a Trekcast supplemental.
Yeah, it is. It is, but some people will get early access and then others will get it later.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about Wonder Woman 1984 today, or WW84 as my kids referred to it, or World War 84. That's what they kind of referred to it as. And they referred to it that way before they ever saw the movie, only saw a couple little trailers, which is kind of funny because that's kind of what it turns out to be.
Yeah.
So
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about my new favorite Christmas movie, Fatman.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
which if you have not seen the trailers, people, it is wacky. It's starring Mel Gibson, and he plays a haggard old Santa.
Yep.
And a kid is trying to kill him for giving that child coal for Christmas.
Yeah. And honestly, I would tell you, if you haven't seen the trailer, if you don't know anything about that movie other than what Daniel just said, stop right now, go watch it. Don't watch a trailer, just watch the entire movie, because I can guarantee you it's not what you think it is.
No.
And then come back and listen to this review. Same thing with Wonder Woman 84, which I'm assuming.
Yeah, spoilers all around, guys.
Yeah, some people have seen it, right? So.
Yeah, well, I saw that the HBO Max numbers were pretty good for Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I didn't get to see those numbers. I haven't looked for those yet. I did see what the theatrical release was here in the States, and that was just abysmal. 17,
but, I mean, that's
just under 17. Yeah, it is to be expected, but I mean, you would think more than $17 million worth of revenue for opening weekend.
I don't know, man. The spikes are everywhere, so that's probably a fact.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
But
like it's so over here our main theater chains are Regal, but we also have like little local mom and pop ones here and there. So like all the Regals are shut down, but the mom and pop ones are still up. So like you can go to the movies, like the theater's 20 minutes from my house, because nobody cares over here. It's like always packed. It's nuts.
Huh.
Yeah.
See, I would think that there's enough of that kind of thing going around where you'd have a little bit higher than 17. I kind of expected maybe 30-ish, but not 16.8, 17, whatever it was. So no, it's understandable though. It is understandable. Yeah. The B&B theater chain that's around here is half open. It's kind of like a fork. They're both locations here in town. One is like a fork and spoon, so you go in there and you get served and all that other stuff, and the other one is just really nice seats, but they're all leather. So
yeah,
I know when you're going and reserving a ticket, because I've looked just out of curiosity, what what are they doing, what are their precautions, and how many seats in the theater are they actually selling? And it's like a third of the capacity. They've got so many seats X'd out. Like you couldn't even go there and like sit with, like if my wife and I wanted to go with the kids, we couldn't all sit together. Two of us would sit in one spot, two of us would sit in another. That's it. So
see over here, it's the one that's open is our cheap theater. Like it's typically the second run movies, but right now
dollar theater.
yeah, basically. But because of everything, they're running the current run movies. But even then, it's cheaper than normal. It's like $5, I think it is. And so you can go, and then you can even, I think it's $100. You can rent out the theater and watch whatever.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think they let you have up to 20 people, but you got to be all socially distanced.
Huh.
But you can rent it out. They'll give you like, I guess there's a chart of movies you can pick from, and you can just watch whatever you want.
Yeah, I guess I have heard of that before, but in terms of like a birthday party kind of thing, not a yeah. That's cool. Yeah. I kind of miss the old days of just a real like matinee. Like there's a building downtown Lee Summit. I've always told myself that if I ever like win the Powerball, which is over like 400 million here in the States right now, if I was to ever win the Powerball, I would go in there and I would buy that building, because the front entryway of it's actually a set of apartments. I don't know what's on the first floor, but everything above it's a bunch of apartments.
Okay.
But that entryway, I don't know who designed this or built this. Maybe they had a matinee in mind, but that front area is like an old 1930s, 1940s entryway where you'd see like a ticket person in the middle counter with the glass that's kind of angled on both sides. Where I mean, it looks like all it's missing is a matinee sign above it, and it would be a movie theater entryway, right? So,
oh wow,
I've always told myself I would buy that building and renovate it, and put a theater in there, one screen, Maybe like Monday nights would be like, silent films, and Tuesday nights would be something else. It'd be a different type of movie each night, and then on Sunday would be whatever that blockbuster was, but it would always be small, 50 or less kind of theater. Maybe you'd have comedians on stage like on a Friday night kind of thing. I've always wanted to do that. I'll never have the money for it, but it's a fun thought.
Well, something like that in Spokane used to have this like really cool jazz club, and across the way from it is like the theater where the local symphony plays at. And what they would do is, because the jazz club was up on the second floor of a building opposite of it, they would play silent films on the back of the symphony's theater, and then the jazz band playing in the club would do the music for the silent film.
Nice.
It was kind of cool.
That is cool. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
That is,
of course,
cool.
It's Spokane, so the jazz club went away. It was too cool for Spokane.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So, not enough hipsters in the area, huh?
Now there is, but back then there wasn't. Yeah.
Huh. I'll be darned.
Yeah. Huh. Oh, we should talk about these movies, though.
Yeah, sorry. We can't get away from the banter, ladies and gentlemen.
No, it's all good.
So it's all good, yeah. So Wonder Woman 84, obviously directed by Patty Jenkins. Right. Yeah, we'll just start with that one, get it out of the way. Right, start with Patty Jenkins, yeah, and then of course Gal Gadot. What'd you say? I'm sorry.
I said ladies first.
Yeah, ladies first. There you go. So, I expected a lot
to the 2017 Wonder Woman film.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I expected a lot out of this movie from the standpoint of it's Patty Jenkins again. It's everybody again, even Chris Pine, Steve Trevor. And so I really did. I expected a lot. I thought this would be as good, if not better, than the first one. The first one, maybe that was just me setting my expectations too high, because that was a great movie. I love the first one.
Yeah.
First one was very well done. There's obviously some things you can nitpick with it, but it was very well done. Yeah, any movie. Yeah, it was good. This one though was way too long.
Yeah.
I mean, way too long. What was it? 2 hours and 20 minutes or something like that?
It had 2 openings.
Pretty much.
It had the Ninja Warrior Themyscira.
And then
it had Busting Crimes in the Mall. I mean, either one of those was the opening for the film.
Why? Like, I understand this need for this flashback to her home and on the island and everything she went through. But man, think of the amount of money they spent for that opening scene, because that's like a 15-minute opening scene.
Yeah, but if you got rid of that, you don't lose anything to the story.
Nope.
And now you've got like a 2-hour movie, which is a lot more manageable.
Yep. I think that was mistake number one. They could have just spliced that in at key moments when she's thinking of things, which is what they did in the last movie, kind of. Although that had 2 openings too, really. Kind of did, didn't it? Not really. Yeah. Not really. They blended the openings together.
The Themyscira opening in this movie doesn't make sense because of the first movie. Because in the first movie, the whole deal is she's not allowed to be trained, and then all of a sudden she can be part of it all.
Yeah, she can run this master race thing.
Yeah.
So
And I read some places that there are theories that the cut of the movie that was released on HBO Max is not the cut we would have got had there been traditional, like you could traditionally go to a movie theater and all that, because it's on streaming. So they're like, whatever, make it as long as you want. We really don't care. Whereas like if it was theaters, make it under 2 hours. We want to turn and burn the theaters as quick as possible to make the most money.
Yeah, but they still release the same version in the theater. So I guess this is the first major, isn't it? This is the first major release where it's released on streaming and the theaters at the same time of a major film anyway. I mean, I'm sure there's other films that have been done, but not a major supposed blockbuster film, correct?
Mulan was the first one, I would say.
Oh, it was released in theaters as well?
Yeah.
Oh.
The theaters that were allowed to, yeah. So
Disney beat them to the punch again.
Yeah. But this is the first one that you didn't have to pay extra. Like Mulan, you had to pay top of the subscription.
Right. It's just part of your What were the HBO Max numbers? You said you had those. I didn't.
No, they just said that the numbers were better. They didn't give the actual numbers.
Okay. Okay, well then, yeah, it's probably the same thing I saw then, where I didn't see numbers. I was like, wow, you found numbers. Okay.
Yeah, no. They don't give those out unless they have to. We'll probably see them at like the stock report. That's when they have to give them out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, they don't necessarily have to give them out. There's just pressure to give them out. I would think that they probably have to. They probably have to say something, but they can be vague about it, like Netflix was for forever.
As somebody who does stocks a lot, no, they have to give it out.
Do they? Okay. Well, yeah, you would know. That's true. You would know.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Fair enough.
This movie, I think it suffered from a lot of what superhero movies suffer through, like for sequels, right? Were too many villains, too convoluted of a plot. They definitely did the whole "I've lost my powers" thing, which is very common in a part 2. Spider-Man 2 did it, you know.
Yeah.
Superman 2 with Christopher Reeves did it, So it's a thing, you know.
I like the premise of what they were going for here. I don't. The execution is not the greatest, which is kind of a surprise. Coming from that same team. But I think two things. I think that part of it, you're right. I agree with you on that. I think the other thing that's kind of going against him as well is just the weight of the first movie and the amount of time everybody's had to wait for this one. I think we've all got a little bit more critical eye of what comes out in theaters at this point, because nothing's coming out in theaters at the new releases. Right?
And this movie was originally supposed to come out in July of 2019. So it is sat on the shelf for a while.
Yeah. You know? And so all that time between the first one and this one, any of that goodwill you would have felt between the two is evaporated.
Yeah, but see, even then, I think we would have got a different cut of the movie in July of 2019. It would have been shorter, you know. And there's a lot of things that, if you really think about it, this movie makes no sense. No. Like the way they bring back Steve Trevor and he's in the body of another dude. Like,
that was creepy. That creeped my wife out. She was like, "That is weird." She did not like that at all. So
yeah, I didn't either, because like there's a part where they talk about how, you know, he doesn't have a passport and they got to go to Egypt or whatever, and so like this poor guy that Steve Trevor has inhabited, you know, his face is everywhere, you know, literally international crimes.
Yeah.
Like, that guy's life is screwed, you know?
Yeah, no, apparently not. I didn't like that ending scene with him either, but yeah, so I mean, there's that part right there that's just odd. They didn't have to do that. If it was a wish that he was back, he didn't have to come back in somebody else's body. He could have just been there. Yeah. He could just been there in the same clothes he was wearing before and been like, what the hell just happened? Like, as if the explosion just happened. But then again, we get this. I don't know where I was, but I knew I was somewhere. I mean, that was kind of cool, I guess, right? Talking about the afterlife.
He's like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, that was kind of nice. I kind of like that part, I suppose. But yeah, and they didn't spend enough. This is going to sound funny coming from me, probably, but they honestly didn't spend enough time with him getting acclimated to 2020 or 2019, whatever. They just didn't spend enough time there. Like, almost a third of the first movie is her getting acclimated to what the world really is. She picks up on it pretty quick because, you know, she's got.
Well, she's been at it since World War I, so like she should be used to it, you know. And the other thing
she is. I'm saying he isn't. I'm saying they didn't spend enough time on him. She's definitely used to it. Of course, she's been around since World War I, but they didn't spend. They spent very short shrift time on that with him. Just a few key little funny things. The him getting dressed scene I thought was hysterical. He loves a fanny pack. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
The trash can's not art. You know, we saw that in the trailer though, so you gave that one away. But
we saw all the 80s stuff in the trailer.
Yeah.
And that's one of the issues. Is like the 80s really don't matter, you know? Even her, like, she's dressed modern for today. Like, she's not dressed 80s style, which would have been fun. Like, put her in some 80s outfits and make it, you know?
Give her a glamour shot updo with the curls and the perm or whatever, you know? And just that would have been hysterical.
There's no 80s music in this thing.
You're right, there's not.
And like, that's one of the things is people were saying is maybe that's why we didn't get any, because it's streaming, whereas the theatrical rights is different. And streaming rights, you have to pay more, I guess.
Oh boy, that's interesting.
Yeah, because like some of the music too in it is placeholder music. Like they use the song from Sunshine. That's in there, I guess, when she's flying around. It's yeah. And then there's another part where they use one of the orchestra bits from Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
Which is weird, you know?
I did pick up on that. I was like, that sounds familiar. That's not. Where's that from? I didn't look it up, but I did pick up on it was from something else from DC. Yeah.
Yeah. The total, like, him changing outfits should have been in 80s pop music, you know?
Yeah. Where was Whip It? And, you know, I mean, come on. You got all these perfect tie-ins.
Songs. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so I don't know. I didn't like well, we have to fly over to Egypt in a stolen, you know, whatever that was, F-16 Falcon or something.
Mm-hmm. Side-by-side seats.
Yeah, exactly. What? That's an intruder, I guess. But they got away with that a little too easy. She's obviously got a pass to get in there, right? So where'd that come from? How is that a thing? They never explained that, which I guess is kind of okay. But what I liked how they handled the invisible jet, but I did not like how that jet could fly from from Virginia, wherever they're at. They're around DC. From there all the way over to Egypt and all the way back, and not a problem.
See, I think they could have handled the invisible jet a little bit better. Like, remember in the party scene where every guy is hitting on her and she's just like, leave me alone?
Yeah.
Right? Had she done something where, like, hey, do you want to see a magic trick? And, like, she makes something disappear and everybody oohs and ahs.
Yeah.
And it's like she could use that as a distraction to get away from the guys hitting on her and go do what she really needs to do. So it sets up the fact that she can make things disappear. And at first you just think it's a party trick.
Right.
And then later when she's like, no, I learned how to do this because of my dad. Then that sets that up, you know?
Yeah, and she kind of almost tries to say that as if she lost something, because she says that to Trevor. Yeah, she loses a cup of coffee, still hasn't found it.
Which I would have loved to have seen that scene. That sounds hilarious.
Yeah, it does sound good. That does sound good.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that opener that they had, if they would have gotten rid of that, the 15 minutes of her past life and Themyscira.
Yeah.
I don't think that's how you pronounce it, but whatever.
Themyscira,
yeah. If they would have gotten rid of that and instead done 15 minutes of what she's been doing since World War I and now with scenes like that, trying to make, you know, just in different time frames, that would have been fantastic.
That would have been great.
That would have been cool. So it might not have made the movie itself any better, but it would have been a hell of a lot better, you know, first of two openings. Well, you could have blended it right into the opening with her in the scene, in the mall scene, and then you would have had one nice continuous opening.
Yeah.
So, but
yeah. I saw there's a YouTube movie reviewer, Nando V Movies, and he's really good. But he brought up the point that he's like, so this lady works as a curator at the Smithsonian, right? And in Batman v Superman, she works as a curator for the Louvre. That's a small community of people. How do you explain I've been a curator for like 70 years?
Yeah, and I look exactly the same.
Yeah.
Well, there's ways you could get around that. That's not such a. Yeah, there's a little bit of a hole there.
Yeah. Like, she should have had a different job here, you know? So then you can say she's done different things.
Yeah, and what is her motivation for suddenly, all of a sudden then in 1984, wearing the outfit around again and no one's seen it since World War I? Like, why all of a sudden now?
Well, she knocked out the security cameras, so there's
Yeah.
And then I like that she's like, I don't watch TV, and then later she's got millions of TVs.
Well, that was kind of funny. That was kind of funny. It was kind of like, you know, she says that the one guy, and then shows all those surveillance TVs to Steve Trevor. So you know, that's like her line to whoever,
get the hell out of here.
Get away from me, and I'm going to make myself sound really boring. So,
well, so I'll say this. When I first heard the movie was called 1984, my thought was, oh, they're going to do a take on the classic novel 1984. Where there's like a big brother, and she's got to take it down, you know? Because that makes sense, right? If you're going to set it in the 80s, and you're going to specifically call it 84, how do you not do that?
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not that. I have no idea what that is.
The Orson Welles book, 1984.
Oh, that book. Sure. Yeah. I thought you meant like a DC version of Wonder Woman or whatever. Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, good point. Good point. Yeah. Well, yeah, wasn't 84 the year that Apple made that commercial as well in
I think
reference
so.
to that?
Yeah.
About the taking down the PC, the monolithic PC.
Mm-hmm.
That was an iconic commercial. But you're right. I mean, they kind of try to sway into that a little bit, but not really.
Kinda. I
Not
mean,
really.
yeah. But I mean, if
So,
you're specifically going to say 84, then that's the thing to throw in.
yeah. I still don't understand the ending, by the way. Um, she finally gets the lasso on his ankle and is now talking to everybody and
Yeah.
somehow convinces the entire world to
I don't
recant
know,
their
man.
wish. I don't know. It doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. So there's this. It's just weird. It's just weird, and I don't get. I understand Pedro Pascal's character,
Yeah.
Max Lord. I understand that character to a T. I don't understand how he all of a sudden just turned on a dime and went the other way.
See, and I think they could have done other like so all the wishes are making him sick, right? That's the deal
Yeah,
that they
it's
show.
killing him.
It's killing him.
Everything has a
But
price.
everything has a price. But I think the wishes should have been killing his son. And that's what makes him turn.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That would have been a hell of a lot more powerful. Like to him, there's no consequences. He doesn't realize it because he never sees Alexander. So,
Right. But if he's
yeah,
getting calls that, hey, your son's getting worse, oh, I'll just wish
because
for the best doctors and they can't fix it.
yeah, and you never see the wife.
Yeah.
You never see
And,
his
and even
ex-wife.
then, like when even at the end they show that montage of Maxwell Lord and you see like he used to wet the bed, he was selling the crackers, all
Yep.
that stuff. That should have been like in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
To humanize him more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're doing it all a little too late.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I never really looked at him as much of it. I guess that part about his character is good because I never really saw him as a villain. He is a bad guy, obviously, from the standpoint of he's sacrificing other people's lives
Yeah.
for what he wants, clearly. But
He's
at the
just a
same
greedy
time,
dude.
he's just a normal, greedy dude, 1980. He's a con man from 1984.
He doesn't
So,
want to kill people. He just wants money.
yeah, he just wants money and he wants power and he wants, more than anything, he wants to be respected and he wants to be feared.
Right.
So,
Right. Which
he
makes
doesn't,
sense. That's a good villain.
that is a good villain. That is a very good villain. He did a great job. I
Yeah.
like Pedro Pascal in pretty much everything I've seen him in.
I love how over the top he was.
Yeah.
He was great.
Yeah. Very over the top. The whole life could be better,
I thought about coming on here and saying Wonder Woman 84 is good, but it could be better.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's a whole bunch of memes going around with him just for but that tells you how underwhelming this movie was because for about 3.2 seconds on the internet, those memes were going around with him saying life is good, but it could be better, for like 2.3 seconds. And then they were gone. They're all gone. I don't see him anymore. Right. So the staying power of this movie online was nothing. I mean, hell, I still see Tiger King memes.
Tiger King is great.
It is. So,
yeah.
My daughter the other day was like, you know what? I think every April we should just rewatch that entire series one weekend.
Yeah. So with this movie, I think they tried to do too much with Cheetah. I think you could have saved Cheetah for another movie.
Yeah, I mean, but boy, they ruined her look. That just wasn't.
I mean,
they didn't need
that person look good,
Yeah, they didn't need to go full CG with that. They could have just kept having. I thought Kristen Wiig did fantastic, by the way, because usually whenever I see her in a movie, it's like, oh, geez, here we go. It's an awkward moments, and it's over the top, whatever BS, and it's SNL theater live, but but she did really well. I really liked her character, and I liked the dichotomy between her and Diana, right? So, that they were kind of friends, or at least she was trying to be friendly to her and trying, that kind of thing. And then as it slowly builds and she slowly changes, Diana kind of notices, but not really. So that was kind of interesting. Like you'd think she'd pick up on that instantly, but she doesn't. But at any rate, no, they didn't need to go full bore with her that way. They could have just, maybe made a little bit of makeup, little change. The outfit kept getting wilder. They could have just gone with that and maybe had some X-Men like Wolverine claws, in her fingers, and been good with that. They didn't need to go full CGI with it. I think that kind of ruined it.
You know what you could have done is, so at the very end, you leave her in like maybe a cheetah print outfit, right? So she's still a person, but she's wearing cheetah print, right?
Yeah.
And Wonder Woman kicks her ass. And so now that she's like a gemologist and she knows about these magic rocks that exist in this world, maybe she starts looking for the rock, and that'll eventually turn her into a cheetah lady. Because I think that's one. There's a million origins for Cheetah in the comics. Yeah. I think one of them is that she finds a magic rock. So you could set that up, like she's like, oh, I need. Because even Maxwell Lord tells her the answer to everything is more, right? So now she's like, I need more, and that sets up part 3.
It could. I guess they're going to leave these things as all standalone now. I mean, are they not going to have this major universe anymore since they already did it in 2 shots?
They train wrecked all of that, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they really did.
Yeah.
It's amazing how badly they train wrecked it too. But anyway.
Yeah, whatever.
So yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, you're right. They could have definitely set that up for another part. But they made it a standalone film. It sits on its own. It doesn't have to interact with anything else. It's in a different time. The villains and all the bad guys are done and gone with, apparently, or at least they made it look that way. They could still bring her back. They could still have her come back and have have issues, but I wouldn't want to see that again.
She's her Joker. Like, she's the main villain
against Wonder Woman. Yeah. You're right.
So
yeah, still come back. I mean, there's still room. They could certainly write that again. But at any rate,
and it's going to be a while till we get a part 3, because Patty Jenkins has already said she's going to do that Rogue Squadron movie, and she's very excited about that.
Yeah. So another 3 years before we even know what Wonder Woman's going to have. Well, and that's if Patty Jenkins, she doesn't have to do the next Wonder Woman. Somebody else could do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they have a contract with her to do 3. They just had the 1 and then said, oh, you got to do the second one. So.
Well, they've already said that she's coming back for 3, but I think they just said that just to say that,
Yeah, I don't think there's a. Yeah. We'll see. We have no clue. I have no clue if there's a contract or not. Maybe there is, but.
I also did like the irony that so in the first one, the big thing was like, oh, Wonder Woman's a strong female-led character, and it's so great. And then in this one, I need my man. Oh, I miss my man.
Yeah. For 70 years, hasn't done anything, and just not, and doesn't want to, and is willing to give up her powers to keep him there in someone else's body.
Right.
Yuck.
Yeah.
That's very beneath her. Yeah, it's creepy and it's beneath her. So
yeah.
But oh well. All right. So that's Wonder Woman 84. I don't have anything else I need to say about that. Do you?
No. It could be better.
It could be better. It was good, but it could have been better. I don't even know if I'd call it good.
It was something to do on Christmas.
Yeah, we all 4 of us sat down and watched a movie. It was kind of fun that way, but no, I don't think any of us really enjoyed it while we were watching it. So
yeah, it was nice that I could pause it and go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Yep.
That was nice.
Yep. Didn't have to drive anywhere for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to Fatman, which by any measure is a better film than Wonder Woman 84.
It's literally half the time.
Yeah, and literally half. Yeah, it's a very quick. It felt like a very quick. Well, okay. Full disclosure: I've watched it 3 times.
Really?
I've rented it twice.
Oh,
I've watched it 3 times, and I've fallen asleep at different parts during this thing at different times. Not because I wasn't enjoying. Yeah, not because I wasn't enjoying it, but because I was always trying to watch it at like late at night, really early in the morning, and I was just dead tired. So, because it's not something I can watch with my kids.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not for kids. It's a 100-minute movie. So
yeah, it's very short. Feels very short, which is an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah,
but it still feels short. So So no, I'm sure there's some scenes I'll probably forget. You'll have to fill them in for me. But I mean, some of the scenes in this movie are just fantastic. The scenes between Mr. and Mrs. Claus are great. She did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
I forget that actress's name. I remember watching someone else's review on this about how awful that must be to have to kiss that Mel Gibson, who's a racist and a homophobe. It's like, whatever. He's not, but okay.
Yeah.
Clearly. But because Mrs. Claus in this movie is black, in case you didn't pick up on that. which I thought was very well done. And I love this. They've turned the whole thing of Santa Claus on his head. Okay, so again, major spoiler alerts. If you haven't watched this movie, please go watch it.
Go watch it, man. It's fun.
Go watch. It's worth the $4 or $5 to rent, and then come back and listen to this. So, the biggest thing about this that I just loved, and I love the idea of, because I don't think it's ever been done, is in this world, yes, Santa Claus is real. Yes, everybody knows that Santa Claus is real. And Santa Claus is a real business, as in capitalistic business, trying to make money off of what he's doing, because he's getting paid or supported in some ways by the government. I'm sure by more than just the U.S. government, by several governments, right? And so,
okay, so I have ideas for sequels, and it'll get into that.
Yeah.
But they say that Santa Claus, the reason he's supported by the government is because he's such an economic driver for Christmas.
Too big to fail. Yep.
Yeah.
It's a great little play on that. Too big to fail scenario, right? And so, I think he even says at one point, "I'm the biggest stimulus the United States has."
Right. True.
I mean, it's great. It's wonderful. It's so cool how well they did that. And of course, what's his name? Okay, so the premise of it is that, he's on hard times. They're kind of running out of money. There's not enough gifts to give out because too many kids are bad, and and he's depressed. Santa Claus is physically depressed, and so he gives a lump of coal at Christmas time to this one horrible wealthy kid. Who gets pissed and goes and hires a hitman to kill him. And that's was it Walter Goggins? Oh yeah,
I love Walter Goggins.
Yeah, I do too. He's the main character on The Unicorn on CBS, and he was one of the main villains in Justified with Timothy Olyphant, who was in Mandalorian this season.
He's my favorite TV show ever, The Shield. Plays Shane Vendrell.
Yeah. So I mean, he's been in a lot of he does a villain like beautifully.
Yeah.
And he plays an insane hitman in this one pretty well.
So, he is a mustache twirling villain in this.
Yeah.
And he loves it. You can tell he's loving it.
Yeah, I'm sure it was fun for him. I mean, this is a very low budget movie.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't ever see the sleigh in the sky. We see it kind of underneath a tarp, and instead Santa's driving an old beat up red like F-150 from the 60s. I mean, it's great.
I'm looking at the Wikipedia, and it says that the script was originally written in 2006, and it took him 10 years to finally sell it.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a great. Who wrote the script? I mean, it's great. Does that say that on
Ian and Isham Nels. I don't know if they're brothers or cousins, but yeah.
Make some more scripts, guys. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have.
It's definitely a dark comedy, which is great.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful. It's the great anti-Christmas movie, really.
Yeah.
So, not really anti-Christmas, but
it's very pro-Christmas.
It's very pro-Christmas. It's just the opposite of a normal Christmas movie.
Yeah, it's not a family Christmas film.
No, it's very violent. It's very bloody.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Not really.
Yeah, it's violent, but I wouldn't call it very bloody. So
yeah. I love how Santa's constantly eating cookies. Like it's like his I'm gonna take a swig from my flask. It's just that he just walks around eating cookies. Yeah.
He's addicted. He's got to have them all the time.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good. You got to see it. What else? What are some of the other scenes? I'm trying to think back now, because I started watching. I think the first time I started watching it was like the middle of December, like on the 12th or 13th.
Oh yeah. When I told you that it was out.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman was fresh in my mind because it was just last week. Trying to think of some other scenes.
The kid is really good, because the kid is he's this affluent, just jerk. He lives with his grandma, and he tries to poison her. He's just a bad kid,
He is.
Yeah.
But which is good. He looked familiar. I can't remember if he was in the Umbrella Academy or something. He's been in some other.
I mean, he's dressed like he's in the Umbrella Academy.
He is dressed like he's in the Umbrella Academy. That's why I kept thinking that. But I can't recall if I'm looking it up to see if he was in something else. But I have no idea. So.
But did you catch the little stuff when the kid calls the hitman's phone says "little turd"?
Yeah. But he still takes the job of the money because who cares?
Yeah,
because
he uses the hitman quite a bit. Like he uses them for other things too. There's a subplot where the kid hires the hitman to take out his competition at the science fair because he never loses. Like that's the kind of kid we're dealing with, guys.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
It's great. What else?
I love that line. You think I got this job because I'm fat and jolly?
Yeah.
He knows how to use a gun.
I like when the hitman confronts him and he goes, "You think you were the first?"
Yeah.
I mean, it's totally like it has all the like Taken older action star tropes in it, you know?
Yeah. It's great. It's great.
Yeah. What else? Even what's his name? Walter Goggins. Like they talk to him about because he has to go into Canada at one point. He's changing borders. And they're like, what are you coming to do? I'm going hunting. I'm here to kill some things.
Yeah.
So cheesy.
It is, but it's perfect. It's perfect for the movie. I mean, it's I like those kinds of lines where someone is actually just physically telling the truth, but as the person, the character in the movie can't tell what that means, but us as the viewers can. I love that.
Yeah. So, the movie had a budget of $20 million.
That's more than I thought.
The box office has been $1.2 million. Well, who knows what streaming and rental is,
I'm sure it's rented at least some. It's got to have been better than that.
Yeah. And if not, it's going to become a cult classic. Like this thing's too good to not become.
Yeah. It is definitely one of those where regardless of what it does right now, a year or two down the road, it will be a classic.
Yeah.
So it'll be, I don't know if it'd be right up there with the classic of, you got to watch this at Christmas time, Die Hard. And
oh, it's up there for me.
It is close. It is close.
Yeah. Cause for me, my big ones are Die Hard and Gremlins. And now this is in there. So
yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. The Metacritic score on it isn't very good. It's like let's see, what is it so far? Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 45%, which is surprisingly low. I would say.
Yeah, that is low.
Yeah. Some of the responses has been like, it's less gonzo than it sounds, better or worse. Which I can see that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's not as crazy as it sounds.
No, it's not.
It's good. I mean, it's really good.
Yeah. I mean, even the trailer's hilarious.
Yeah. I made my wife watch the trailer, and she was like, "Wait, what?" Because when you watch this is why you can't. This is why you it's almost better if someone goes and watches this thing without seeing the trailer.
Yeah.
Because I just can't imagine what my response would have been if I'm watching this film and it's like all of a sudden, wait, he's what?
Yeah. I remember when I sent the trailer to you and Dan, and you guys were like, what the hell is this?
What did I just watch? Like, what kind of, but even if you have seen the trailer and then you go and watch the movie, it's not the same. It's not, it's like, it's still different. So, which is great, because that's another thing that they did, which is wonderful. They told you kind of what's going on without really telling you what's going on. Yeah. Most trailers nowadays give away the ghost. I mean, it's just so irritating.
It's a very well done trailer.
It is a very well done trailer. It lays out the premise without telling you the premise.
Okay. So I've got to get into my pitches for sequels. And see what you think.
Go for it.
So I want to do a trilogy of these, right? And my thought is this. They very clearly say in this movie that he works for the US government, right?
Yep.
So with that in mind, I'm going to say that Santa is regional. Each country, each region has their own Santa. So this is the Santa for North America, I'll say, right?
Yeah.
So what I want to do is in the second one, I want to do the German Santa. And it becomes a revenge film between Santa and Krampus. And so Santa is on his way to take out Krampus because Krampus is taking out the good kids, even.
Or either that, or maybe it's a battle between the Santas wanting to have more territory, more money.
Well, so this is my pitches.
Yeah.
So Santa versus Krampus.
Yeah.
So I would get Schwarzenegger as your German Santa. And because they're magical creatures. You don't need somebody physically to match up with Schwarzenegger, right?
Yeah.
You can just, it's magic. Who cares?
Right.
So I would reunite Schwarzenegger with his 80s co-star as Krampus, Danny DeVito. Because Danny DeVito can be just crazy and I'm going to eat these kids. Ha ha,
Yeah.
So that's that one, right? And so it's just straight up a revenge film. So in the first one, Santa's being hunted. The second one, Santa's doing the hunting.
Yeah.
So, okay. And then the third film, Santa goes tropical. And we're going to go to the island of Samoa. And our Santa there is none other than Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah.
And so what I'm going to do there is Santa is very traditional and very black and white. And he's very upset that all these kids are either really good or really bad, and that's it. And so every year the bad kids keep going up. And so I'm going to make it a metaphor for morality, and that sometimes there's gray areas, and you got to give people the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. And to kind of show that, I'm going to say that Jack Frost is trying to come to Samoa and bring a white Christmas and change things. So the snow is the metaphor for changing in life. And for Jack Frost, again, magical creatures, so they don't have to physically match up. I want Tiffany Haddish. So Jackie Frost, just because she can talk so much smack. And honestly, if you watch The Rock and wrestling, he can talk a lot of smack.
Oh,
so
yeah,
between the two of them, you're going to get great just arguing, So that's what I would do.
Yeah, that's not bad. Not bad. Huh. Well, they need to make another one. I mean,
they do.
This is definitely good enough to earn a second movie. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So start cranking out those writing scripts, guys.
Yeah, for sure. So, well, very cool.
Yeah, out of those two movies, it's amazing that Fatman's better.
Yeah.
More entertaining, I'll put it that way. I mean, better
it's
on
unique.
what? I mean,
it's unique.
It is definitely unique.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman's full of tropes. Batman is not. Now there's a few tropes there.
It is, but it's different tropes.
Yeah, it's a turning those tropes on their head and using them in a different way. Because really, at the end of the day, what is it? There's only 7 types of stories you can tell to begin with. So 8 types of stories.
Like
yeah. So yeah. All right, cool. Anything else on Fatman?
Yeah, definitely watch Fatman, people.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that's it. Yeah. Good times. We need to do some of these more often every once in a while when major movie drops or something of interest to us drops.
Well, that's why we put the poll out in the group, that we would do other stuff, not just Star Trek.
Yeah, and make sure that they're labeled a supplemental so that people will know it's not just your normal Trekcast. So
yeah.
That makes sense. And maybe those titles, I don't know, maybe those titles need to be a little different. Because I was thinking about this the other day, like Lower Decks is now actually going to be premiering overseas in the UK and Australia, where people can actually go and watch it. They haven't been able to watch it yet.
Right.
Well, we have, 10, 11 shows, however many was in that season, all about that with reviews, but you can't tell which ones they are by the show titles.
No, you can't. But that's okay.
Yeah, no, I need to make a blog post with a list and then tell people about it. Like, here's, if you're getting ready to watch Lower Decks, here's our first review of the first episode, and here's a list of all of them so you can kind of follow along. So
yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'll do that on the website. So,
okay, sounds good.
Cool enough. Awesome. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks everybody for listening.
Yep. All right, we'll see you.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Well, there you have it, another episode in the can. Check us out at Trekcast.com. Also, if you would, please subscribe to us via iTunes. Leave those reviews, subscribe to us, we'll get some numbers, get up the list, get more listeners, do more shows, have more fun. But for now, we're all done. So live long and prosper, and we'll see you next week.